Welcome to yet another episode here at 5 Square Homes. My name is Francis Katende, and again, I am with
Patience Nsima.
Yeah, Patience. Last time when we had our very first podcast, we talked about several conversations where we looked at what is condominium. You gave us a brief introduction to real estate. It was such an amazing experience. Now, after telling us all those beautiful things, I think Ugandans out there may be wondering and saying, hey, I think this concept of condominium, you're just pushing it on to us. So let's first break it down for the Ugandans to understand. Looking at the global market, what is the general picture when it comes to this condominium business?
The global picture is quite wide, and we do appreciate those leaders that have taken it up. For example, if we look at Singapore, we see that Singapore is more focused on its population, and that is where we could say that 80% of its population is living in condominiums, or what we would call the public housing flats. And for them, what makes them exceptional is that they're looking at more of self-contained developments.
Okay.
So
What do you mean by more self-contained development?
whereby once you get into your house, everything is in there. You don't have to move out to be able to do certain things. Yes, so that is what distinguishes Singapore, which is the most successful country in the world that shows us about the condominiums. Because tell me how 80% is living in a condominium, and then you're saying this is not the world's leading condominium country.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, that is
So
it.
it's not just housing, it's a complete ecosystem.
Yes, it is an ecosystem. Take a look at Canada, whereby we can talk about Vancouver, which has the highest density of condominiums, approximately 30%. So we also look at Toronto, 71% of the buildings that they're putting in place are being delivered as residential condominiums. And we feel that it gives us insight. Where are we going in the future, and whom do we need to borrow from? Yes, that is for the Canada version. That is how they're doing their things currently.
So you mean condos are the default housing choice there in those countries?
Yeah, for the many people, that is it. And for example, if you look at the United States, we see that United States has approximately 11 million condominium units, which is really good, meaning people have embraced it. We are not just imposing it on people. It is going to be able to help us. And we feel that we need to learn more from the US, from the countries that I'm going to mention more, and we see how best we can do the condominium concept in Uganda.
Now, if we move away from all those countries that you've been talking about, so there are countries that like Japan. Yeah, what's the picture in Japan for condos?
The picture in Japan currently, we see that they have 6.7 million condominium units that are being occupied by their population. And for them, for Japan, their major focus is about safety. They are looking at putting out condominiums that are really good, not just good on the outside, but rather we want to look at the safety of people. When you decide to take in a condominium, or when you decide to buy a condominium, how sure are you that you're taking the good thing? So Japan focuses on the high quality. They focus on how is the resistance with the earthquakes. Those are the things that Japan is imposing. Take a look at Dubai. Dubai has the world's tallest condominium residential unit. That is the Burj Khalifa. And we see that it is doing well. And we would say that from those countries, we can learn more. And
There's a lot to learn from them.
Yes.
Are we adopting some of the approaches that they use?
Yes, we are adopting, for example, the off plans. They're already working here in Uganda, and we have seen it work because it doesn't put our clients on pressure. They are content, but the time we finish our condo, they will also be somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So, Patience, even in places with abundant land, are condos still thriving?
Exactly. It's not all about land scarcity. It's all about efficiency, convenience, and also the lifestyle that people want to live. So it doesn't matter whether the land is there or it's not there. What do people want? That is what would be our focus.
Now let's bring it back closer to home now in East Africa. Paint for us the picture.
East Africa is doing well. We are thriving. Every country is moving at its own speed because of the adaptability from the people that live within that country, the population, the housing deficit, all these come in. They give us the picture and the speed at which our countries are going to move in East Africa. Okay. And one thing that I've seen is that these countries, even Uganda, we have all adopted the condominium perspective, and we now want to understand it more. Yes.
Okay.
That is
By
East
the way,
Africa.
as 5 Square Home, do you have clients from East Africa, maybe from Burundi or Kenya or Tanzania? Do you get clients from
Yes,
those
we do
countries?
get clients from those countries. We have clients from Kenya that are coming in. We have clients from the different East African countries that are interested and have even bought, not just interested, they have bought with us. And we do appreciate because they give us the feedback. So it gives us the urge to keep giving the best in whatever industry, so that when people come in, they find the quality that we need to give, the best that they would want to see. Then we also...
You mean on a global standard?
On a global standard, because when you look out, you're going to see the different people that are selling out there. But we paint a picture and we rely more on our core values. That is creativity and innovation, so that whatever we put together fits our clients' needs. That is what we focus on as 5 Square. And when these people come in, it gives us the hope that we are actually giving them what they need.
They do.
Yes.
Because they do a comparison in their countries and what you have here, and the difference is really minimal.
Yes.
So now, where does that leave us as Uganda, as far as condominium is concerned? Because you've talked about East Africa in general, but now in Uganda here, where does that leave us?
In Uganda, we all need to have the perspective of what condos are. We need to encourage and teach these people so that they understand straight from the previous things that we have talked about. They need to know what are their rights, what are they owning, what is it that is going to entice them to come to the perspective of living along the traditional way to come to the condominiums. That is what we need to do.
Do we, I've always wanted to ask you this question, do we have a law?
Yes, we do have a law. That is the Condominium Property Act that was put in place in 2001. And it is in existence. Yeah.
What is there? Then if it is in existence, so what is the problem then? Because if there are laws, so what is the problem?
I think the problem is, it is one thing having the law, and it is another thing being able to implement it correctly. So what lacks in our government, or what lacks in our country, Uganda, is the weakness in the things that we do. How are we enforcing this law? How are we trying to tell people to understand it? Because people out there, they don't even know that Condominium Act was enacted in 2001, and the amendments that have been made to it. So we need to be able to see that the government is enforcing the law. That is one. Two, we need to teach our people about the condominium and see how best we can be able to push them to the better understanding of this picture. Three, we also need to look at the perspective of people. What do they actually need? Okay, so once we understand all this and government comes in to enforce, we shall be able to better our condominiums in Uganda, and we shall thrive just like the other countries that are thriving. Yes.
So, Patience, what would you want someone to pick or learn from this conversation that we've been having? Because we've been looking at the global picture, then East Africa, then zero to Uganda. What would you want someone to pick out of our conversation?
What I would want someone to pick out of our conversation is that we are trying to help people to understand what condominiums are, and we want them to be able to see how best they can embrace, because that is the way we are moving to. We are moving forward, and I don't think we shall have the enough land that is going to cater for our wide population that we are having. So we need to be able to ease our future by looking at things that are going to help us, such as the condominiums. That is what I would tell people.
Wow. You've really given the scope of condominium business, and I feel we need to really, like, catch up with, because you really first gave us a picture of what it is like in those countries. Like, take for example, Singapore. I was amused, like 80% of the people, like, they are into the idea of condos. And if you try to compare to Uganda, it's like, what percentage would that really be? Like, I don't know, 0.0 something percent?
Yeah, because we are kind of ignorant about the whole idea. So we need to put it out there. That's why we are having this broadcast, because we need to be able to educate the Ugandans out there, and not only Ugandans, everyone that wants to know about condominiums. We are going to be here to give you more knowledge about it.
Thank you for answering our questions. It's interesting how 5 Square Homes is here to educate the Ugandans, because someone would think, they're here to sell their condos to us, but this knowledge is going to benefit lots of people that are out there. And I hope you've picked something from this conversation that we've had today, of the global perspective, and then zeroing down to the East African perspective and where Uganda lies in as far as our condominiums is concerned. So until next time, I've been Francis and Patience. Bye.